Alright, Gennady Golovkin, 36-0, 33 knockouts. Daniel Jacobs, 32-1, 29 KOs. These guys actually have a really good combined knockout ratio. Okay, look, today, I scoured the internet looking for the latest comments by Team Golovkin, K2 Promotions, Tom Loeffler, Abel Sanchez, whoever, just trying to find like an update and or even like, you know, an interview that I could reference in the video just to keep everyone up to date, and I found it. I mean, I watched multiple videos. I watched, went to channels I don't like going to, read probably 20 or 30 different articles, and the interview that I found, it's a current interview. It's only a few days old. It really offers like really good insight that you usually don't get from a trainer. I found an interview given by Abel Sanchez, and he really opened up. And I think, I don't know, sometimes you can catch these guys at a unique time and they'll open up. I mean, usually when you interview a coach or a team, they give you the bread and butter answer, the typical, like, oh yeah, we're really looking forward to the fight, and we're excited, we can't wait, don't forget to buy your tickets, just the generic basic answer. But like I said, he really opened up in this particular interview, and I wanted to share it. Now look, in the past we've gone over a few things, and I kind of wanted to touch on them real quick just to kind of recap the past. And you got to remember, K2 Promotions said no rematch, all or nothing. So this is like a one-time deal, and they really have to do that to keep in line with their narrative, because they have a plan for 2017, even 2018. They're talking about moving Golovkin up to 168 and then finalizing his career at 175, the heavyweight division. So they have a plan, and it looks like they're going to really stick to it. So we remember the first press conference. I heard it was very boring, not a lot of people there, not a lot of hype around the fight. I think the closer we get to that date, the more hype we'll see with it. Both guys have been very kind and respectful towards each other building up to the fight. And like I said in all the other videos, I know Jacobs will go down. He's going down in this. There's just no way around it. So, back in 2010, ever since that loss to Parag, or Parag, however you want to pronounce it, he was up against like really weak opposition, okay? And then going into the Sergio Mora fight, the Latin Snake, we remember round 2, the guy broke his ankle. Jacob said, nah, you had your shot. I'm not giving you a rematch. Which I thought that was like really weak of Jacobs to say. But then in order to duck, tougher fights, he took the Sergio Mora rematch and, beat him in that rematch. But, Mora at that point was a washed up 40-year-old fighter. Okay, we all know Jacobs, he has a questionable chin and head. You can see him get hit in the head and he gets wobbled or hurt. Fast forward 2015, Peter Quillen blows him out in round 1. That was just, he caught him cold, and I'd like to see a rematch. So, a lot of people say they don't want to see a rematch, but I would like to see a rematch. Okay, let's get on. Oh, and by the way, one more thing I do want to add. It's going to be on HBO pay-per-view, and I don't agree with that. I really think if they, put it on regular HBO even, that it would give Golovkin just a bigger or more exposure, should I say, just to kind of broaden his fan base. And it's just like, but it boils down to greedy promoters, and I think it also boils down to what they had to pay Jacobs, because we know Jacobs is basically robbing Golovkin and getting double and triple what he should be getting, but they had to do that in order to get him in the ring, because otherwise he wasn't going to take the fight. So I think that really explains the pay-per-view. But even if they paid him a normal amount, I still think it would be pay-per-view, because there's just so much greed in the industry. In boxing, there is so much greed, and it's really killing boxing. It's why it's just like a small niche community. And sport, it's almost like tennis in my mind. It really is. In our world, we think it's like the greatest thing, but out in everyday life, people really don't follow boxing. Okay, but let's get into this interview, because I don't want to make the video too long. I'm just going to read what he said. And like I said, he kind of opened up, and it's very revealing. You know, usually you can't get inside a coach's head like that, you know, before the fight. So, okay, when asked who wins the Golovkin-Jacobs fight, Sanchez said, the guy that lands the first significant shot, because they're both good finishers. Okay, now I never thought I'd hear Abel Sanchez even admit that Jacobs had any kind of a chance at all. Okay, if one of them gets you hurt, they're going to put you away. Jacobs proved that in the Peter Quillin fight, and obviously we've seen that with Golovkin. I think with Golovkin, the fight doesn't go past the 8th round. David Lemieux was a plotter. David Lemieux was a guy with heavy hands, but without the IQ, and that is very true. You know, Lemieux doesn't have that ring IQ like I believe Danny Jacobs does. So the difference in the IQ between Jacobs and Lemieux is immense. So we have to be cognizant, whatever the hell that means, of the fact that Jacobs not only has a history of amateur fights, but also as a pro. He's been able to outwit a lot of the guys. Lemieux did it with raw strength and power, because you know he's a puncher, we know that. Danny has done it with brains. I mean, that's very interesting to hear Abel Sanchez say that, you know. So and he is an intelligent fighter. You know, you have to give him that. You know, he might have a weak chin, but he's a smart fighter. Okay. That's why this fight is dangerous. So again, never thought I'd hear Sanchez even admit that it was dangerous. Now that we're going to this level, he's seen Golovkin, and everybody has tape on Golovkin, and he's trying to distract Golovkin, and Danny has the tools to be able to do it. Whether he can handle the strength and power and pressure of Golovkin remains to be seen. This is a real threat, and because it's a real threat, Golovkin is going to be focused. Golovkin has been in camp since November, and he didn't have a fight. I hope we have two guys in a chess match hitting the hell out of each other, because as a fight fan, that's what I want to see. I'm tired of the wrestling. I'm tired of the mauling. I want to see two guys go at it like they did 20 years ago. We know Abel Sanchez is a big fan of like old boxing history, like I am. You know, I'm a big fan, you know, back in the days. And actually, I want to make a video about that, because I don't think I've ever made a video on the channel really getting into my old, you know, favorite fighters, even of the 80s and the 90s, 70s, whatever. You know, like Roberto Duran and, you know, all these guys, Hagler Hearns, you know, the older guys. So I really want to make a video getting into that. My all-time favorite, Sugar Ray Robinson. So that'd be great to make a video. And Tyson, you know, Muhammad Ali. I really want to make videos highlighting those guys. But anyway, back to what he said. All of those guys going at each other, not holding or clinching. If that's the case, then whoever emerges from the fight will be considered pound for pound the best fighter, because we're going to see a fight, not a wrestling match. Danny was the only one that stepped up. The reason he stepped up is because he got the great win against Quillin and the great win against Sergio Mora, which, bullshit. I mean, that's just, you know, I think he's got to say that. And the WBA mandated it, but nobody else was willing to sign the dotted line to fight Golovkin other than Jacobs. You probably only do so much to get someone inside, or you can only do so much to get someone inside the ring to fight Golovkin. If they won't, we've got to take whoever will, said Sanchez. You know, kind of like a Dominic Wade. We're all sick and tired of watching Golovkin fight Mandos. Okay, now one more quote. Gennady didn't really feel that Brook could hurt him, said Sanchez. With Jacobs, with 29 knockouts in 32 fights, and he does have a high knockout percentage, it's obvious he can punch. So in the first couple of rounds, we'll see if Jacobs is a threat. Okay, they're gonna test out his power. That's pretty typical. So I think round one will be kind of a feel out round, you know, shaking hands, get to know you kind of round. But hey, he might try to blast Golovkin like he did Peter Quillin. I think that'd be a mistake, because he get countered. So if he's not a threat, then hopefully we can get him out of there. He won't be reckless. It's just a matter of getting Golovkin in the right frame of mind. Right now, he's focused because Jacobs is a threat, and in his last fight, he didn't feel Brook was much of a threat, and really, Golovkin didn't seem himself, you know, Kell Brook. So it was a difficult fight for him, said Sanchez. Jacobs is not as big as a puncher as some boxing fans thinks that he is. I'm sure that Sanchez has a good idea of how hard Jacobs hits. He's not doing to talk. He should have said going. That's a typo right there. He's not going to talk down the fight through. Wow, this guy needs to go back and edit this shit because it's on HBO pay-per-view. The more boxing fans that mistakenly believe this is going to be a 50-50 fight, the better it will be for Team Golovkin. It just means those boxing fans have spent their hard-earned money on purchasing the fight, thinking Jacobs can win. I think the boxing fans are going to find out the hard way that they wasted their money. You know, that's probably what he said. But yeah, like I said, I just want to, I mean, there's like a very telling information there. I wanted to go just to share that with you guys, because like I said, usually you don't have a coach that opens up like that, and really he kind of revealed their strategy. I mean, he admitted round 1, round 2 is going to be kind of a feel-out round. They're going to test his power. I mean, if I was Jacobs' coach and I kind of knew this, I would kind of formulate a strategy around that, you know. Maybe I wouldn't show him all my power right away. I mean, even, you know, I remember, I cannot remember the fight it was, but it was Roy Jones and Max Kellerman, Jim Lampley. Roy Jones, he was calling the fight, and he was having like a discussion with Jim Lampley about, you know, not showing the guy your power in round 1 or round 2. You know, you might want to get them comfortable with, say, 70% power, and then in round 3, round 4, you turn up that power, okay? And it works. I've actually done that. You know, you kind of pitter pat, and you know, you give them a little bit of power, and you make them like, okay, like you know, you earn their respect, but you know, you don't show them that 100% of your power right away. And if I was Jacobs' coach, I would tell him, you know, get them, you know, you want go out there and don't show your power right away. Let them get a little bit careless, and then counter them 100% power. Okay, that might be just one little thing to keep in mind. If I mean, that wouldn't be like my overall, you know, game plan or my overall blueprint to beat Golovkin, but I would tell my fighter, I'd tell my guy, you know, just take it easy in round 1, round 2, you know, show him some power, and then round 4, round 5, or maybe 3, 4. We're going to turn that power up to 100% when he's not expecting it. So that's what I would do. But anyway, guys, I wanted to share that with you. I want to keep the videos a little bit shorter than I normally do, and I'll be back with another one. Thanks for watching.